Welcome to Rewire to Receive. Just want to go over a few things with you guys before we start diving forward. The reason I'm so passionate about this work is because no matter what we consciously want and crave and desire, our subconscious mind is what's ultimately in control. And our nervous system is basically setting the ceiling to where and how and what we focus on and how we move and what patterns that we are accommodating life with. Our subconscious actually processes information 1 million times faster than the conscious mind. So, Tabitha wrote, coming from Joplin, Missouri. Joplin in the house, working on building my online tribe. You're doing great with that and having no fear in helping others with my gifts. You're wonderful at that too. Lauren and I align in our business building thoughts and the way our minds work. Absolutely. Very grateful to have Tabitha in my circle of influence and as a good friend. So thank you for showing up, Tab. Appreciate you. All right. So this is why our mindset doesn't work on its own, right? Our subconscious is processing data 1 million times faster than our conscious mind. It's literally always going to be ahead of what we're consciously thinking. I don't know if you've ever heard the sentiment, if you get a gut feeling, you should always trust it. A lot of that's because our subconscious is picking up on little cues here and there around us, right? And we're not consciously aware of it yet. But our gut is picking up on it like, whoa, okay, you need to stop. And that can sometimes be good. And that can sometimes be bad when it comes to serving you on your journey towards building wealth in your life, right? So when we think about changing, the conscious mind nods in agreement, right? Yeah, we want to change. We want to do this. We're on board. Let's do this. But our nervous system is still operating on the rules that we lived ultimately and learned up until the age of 7. And I mean, our minds are constantly being rewired. So you are in control of what direction that goes in. And if you've been around certain elements, that's going to influence everything that you think, everything that you do. So before we get started, I really want to implement that today is not about positive thinking, though it is a very wonderful tool in your toolbox to have a positive mindset and a positive outlook on life. Today, we're more concerned about recalibrating your body's default operating system so that wealth will feel normal. Okay? The reason I bring up positive mindset is it's too black or white. You hear people say, okay, well, you just have to stay positive. Okay, great. But when your body's in a fight or flight mode and you keep going into burnout and you're not able to push forward in the proper directions because you don't know what you don't know, positive thinking's not going to do much for you except for keep you on a hamster wheel. So positive thinking, as I said, is a beautiful trait, beautiful tool in your toolbox, but we're going deep today. Welcome, Jamie. I'm so glad you're able to make it. All right, so let's just jump right in. I want to make it very clear that today's session, we will be discussing a few key items that are important. Hey, there's your beautiful face. To get you to intentionally focus on the things that will help you rewire your mind on the things that will impact your wealth future in the most powerful way possible, okay? But in order to really integrate everything, I'm going to do a powerful visualization with you guys. And we're going to start with a grounding exercise. And these 2 moments, I really want to make sure you guys are in a space that's quiet, that's calm. You can really relax fully and concentrate on the visualization and what we're going to practice together. And for after and in between, if you have a journal, or at least something to document what you're learning, like a notebook on your computer or phone is fine too. There you go, Tabitha. I think writing down stuff is awesome because it really reinforces it into your mind. And that's what we're here today to do, is to learn and grow and evolve. I also want to be very frank and authentic because I don't know how to be any other way. I'm learning just like you guys are. So I want you to know that we're all students together, and I'm happy that you are all here to be a part of this journey with me. And let's see how we can all grow. If there's anything you want to share along the way, this is also a very highly interactive workshop. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what's coming up for you. The more you really get involved, the better. And if you don't want to talk at all and you want to keep to yourself, that's totally cool too. Michelle, so good to see you. Thanks for joining. I know you're driving, so it's all good if you can't put your camera on, but thanks for being here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And if you're driving or doing anything like that, please do not close your eyes during our grounding exercise. I know I don't normally need to make that disclaimer, but I just want to share that. So let's get started with our grounding exercise. If everybody could go ahead and, in their calm space, close your eyes. I'd like you to take one hand on your heart and put one hand on your belly. And inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, 2. And exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And please repeat this again. Go ahead and inhale for 4. You want to feel the rise and fall of your belly. 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Go ahead and inhale again for 4. I want you to also think it is safe to receive with ease. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6, and think to yourself, my nervous system is expanding into overflow. Okay, now go ahead and just continue taking deep breaths. Feel the rise and fall beneath your hands. Imagine a soft light filling your chest, flowing down into your stomach, and coating every single nerve ending with warmth. You can either whisper to yourself or think to yourself, I'm safe, I can expand, I'm ready for overflow. And let this be your baseline before we touch a single strategy today. Go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you, everybody. How are you feeling? Good? Awesome. All right. Feel free to use this breathwork exercise anytime you're needing to find that capacity within your nervous system. I find a lot of leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners get stuck in this chaos and get lost in the moment, and this can bring you back to that moment, to the present, and help you feel more calm and centered as well. I'm going to make sure you all get a copy of the recording today, and if you stick through to the end, I have a few fun little surprises for you too. Big thank you for showing up and for doing this with me. So the truth about wealth. Dun, dun, dun. The iceberg. I'm sure you guys have seen this a million times, right? The subconscious mind and the unconscious versus the conscious mind. We mentioned a bit already that our subconscious is processing a million times faster than our conscious mind at the start of today's workshop. And 95% of our daily behavior is ruled by our subconscious. So without that safety in our body, that feeling that you just brought yourself back to right now, that calmness, that centeredness, that ability to relax into what you're working towards, every attempt to scale is going to actually trigger resistance, and it's going to disguise itself as procrastination, overwhelm, fight or flight, maybe going into that chaos, fight or flight stage where you're trying to find a solution and you just can't sit still. I know I resonate with that. Constantly changing your mind, overthinking. And my goal for you guys today is to install and help you really dig deeper into how your beliefs are what are controlling your identity, which is controlling your nervous system, which is controlling your habits, which is then controlling your results. And then you have a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you have control over your beliefs and everything that comes after that, right? We're bringing awareness to what's underneath today. Before we push forward, I want to share with you guys an auto suggestion, which basically is a way to prime your subconscious mind. You're welcome to either write this down or say it out loud, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But I'm going to share with you what's going to help you prime your mind for what we're going to work on next. I allow wealth to feel familiar. It is safe to rewire my inner world to reflect the success that I desire. And once you have a belief that's installed, your body then acts as its enforcer. And you can reprogram and rewire anything. You are not stuck. It was once believed in, kind of crazy to think, the late 1900s that we were hardwired mentally at a certain age and we weren't able to outgrow that. And luckily we've got some nerdy scientists who are like, nope, I don't agree with that. That's not cool. That realize, okay, actually our minds are fairly malleable. The plasticity in our brains are malleable up until about the age of 70. You can do just about anything. After 70, it's still not impossible. It's just not as easy. So let that be your hope for today's session, that if you feel stuck somewhere, you have control over where you go next. This is something somebody shared with me when I was in I would call the abyss on my entrepreneur journey. I was stuck in a dark hole. I didn't know what to do next. I had just dealt with a business failure. I was dealing with health issues. I didn't really know what I didn't know. And I worked alongside somebody who had already gone through the fire and helped lead the way and basically give me a flashlight to see, okay, this is where you're at. This is why you're feeling this way. And this is how you're going to get to the next place, right? And I feel like this is very important to share, especially when it comes to building wealth in your life, because we're all at different stages. Every single one of us is in a different stage of our business growth, our leadership growth, our development growth, our beliefs are all completely different. We all have our own fingerprint, right? So I want to go through each of these with you, and I want you to identify exactly where you are and what it is that you need to focus on accordingly, because this is going to help you fine-tune your energy so you're not wasting your energy on things that are so black and white and often shared, especially on social media. You'll hear things like, hustle hard because you have to to reach your goals. And that's just not it's not for everybody. There are times and periods in your entrepreneurial journey where you do have to work a little harder for certain things, right? That's a part of the process, but that's not where everybody is. So, Tabitha put, you would think the older we get, the less we would care, but somewhere fear takes over somewhere in our life. You're human, man. We're all human. And I think fear is healthy. I think it shows you that you're alive. You have a conscience. You are feeling things deeply and intensely. But if you can reshift fear and see it more as a tool to fuel the energy towards growth instead of a tool towards focusing on the wrong side of the hallway, which is basically, okay, I have this failure and this failure. Why can't I do anything right? To focus on the things you can control, right? I think fear is a great energy to have because it's going to push you to work harder. You just need to learn to not let it rule your mind in a negative way. And that's something, I mean, even I'm working on fine tuning. We're all human, right? All right. So this first stage is where the idea and inspiration hits, the spark hits. We have this energy that's super high. The vision is bold, but nothing really tangible exists yet. It's at the very, very beginning. And the best skill for you to really hone in and have is creative openness in this stage. This is your yes stage. Ideas need to flow constantly without judgment so you can spot opportunities others are overlooking. But the pitfall here is that the fear of being unrealistic or too big will cut the legs off of your high wealth idea before it's born. Because it's so new, there's so much ahead of you, it can feel overwhelming, right? The second stage is validation and discernment. It's where you're doing market research, you're looking for feedback, and you're refining your concept. This is where your dreams meet your data, essentially. And it needs to be met with discernment so that you can have critical thinking and market awareness. Because yeah, you can constantly test things, but if you're not looking at the data, okay, I've tested these 3 workshops last week, but this one workshop everyone showed up to and really seemed energized about. This other one no one seemed to care about. And then you keep doing the one that no one seemed to care about, you're going to feel burnt out, right? So getting really clear and discerning on what you need to focus your energy on. So critical thinking, market awareness, this is where you separate your personal passion from what's scalable. What's a scalable opportunity? And you need to validate if your idea will pay without losing the soul of it. You still want to do the things you love, right? You're fine tuning it. You're scaling it down to what actually is working. The pitfall here is skipping the validation because you're in love with an idea, or often leads to an expensive failure, right? So if you keep putting money into something, to that workshop, especially no one's showing up for it, you're like, but everyone needs this, the world needs this, and then no one's showing up, that's all that money's lost. It's basically an investment you've lost money in. And the wealth action here will be who will pay for this and why now. So you need to collect the data, you need to pre-sell and run little micro tests before you do full launches on anything. And pivot a lot until you figure it out. It's like dating that toxic boyfriend, and you're like, but they have potential. You just keep pouring in and you're like, why am I so tired? All right, the next one is launch. For courage, right? Courage is what you need here. During the launch, you're going to have the adrenaline. You released your offer to the world. You're testing both your product and your resilience here. And you need courage. You need to have decisive action and resilience to judgment because you're going to get a lot of that. And Why? Because wealth rewards speed and visible offers. At your launch, the fear of failure and external opinions can cause distractions, and it can actually cause you to hesitate. It can cause you to want to quit. So the pitfall here is waiting for things to be perfect, because that makes people stall, and that erodes your confidence. And your wealth action here is going to be to just release the imperfect product and refine it as you go. The minimal viable offer. Could do a whole nother class on that one. And know that it will evolve. The act of launching builds confidence faster than over planning. So just keep pushing forward. Stop worrying about the little details. And then we have early growth. And if you look here, you'll see it's right where the plateau starts. And this is important because I want you guys to understand plateaus are very normal. Very, very, very normal in any journey of growth. It's not just leadership. It's not just entrepreneurship. It's in relationships. It's in your health. It's in any kind of personal task where you want to learn and grow and evolve. You're going to plateau. So the reason I am fine-tuning this and pinpointing right now is because I want you to realize that if you're ever in that state, it's not forever. I promise it might feel like a life sentence and it sucks, but it's there for you to learn from and to grow and to really dive in deeper and see, okay, what is it that I need to pull out from here so I can get to the next space, right? Where do I need to pivot? Where do I need to adapt? So let's talk about the early growth stage before we get to that. I just got excited and wanted y'all to know, like, the plateaus suck, man. I've been there many times. So during the early growth, you need operational discipline. You need operational discipline because the early wins can cause your ego or chaos to take over. You don't know till you're there. Some people think, oh, I've made it. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have, they stop really I don't like the word hustle, but working towards their goal or their efforts in the right intentional direction, or they don't have it fine-tuned in such a way that chaos just erupts. You can't do anything like that. You can't scale chaos. You just can't. You could try, but I promise you're going to be heartbroken. True wealth requires building repeatable systems. The pitfall here is chasing shiny objects. Man, I can't tell you how much I resonate with that from my past life. Instead of doubling down on what's already working. So your action here is going to be audit your numbers often, weekly, minimum, and refine one sales process instead of adding 10 new ones. So really just fine-tuning things, okay? Then here comes the plateau, which is the adaptability piece. It's the problem solving under pressure. Plateaus are where cash flow can feel tight and doubt creeps in. This is where you're like, am I really meant for this? Do I really need to keep going? And the reason I mention that this isn't just business, it's also in our relationships. It's also in our health because it all aligns. It's all interconnected. It's all related. The more conscious and clear you're moving in your own life, the more conscious and clear you're going to move in your own business, right? So plateaus are where the cash flow, we talked about that already. Wealthy entrepreneurs treat this as a lab instead of a death sentence, which is basically what I was getting at. So use it as a time to grow and learn and adapt and pivot. The pitfall here is panicking and you're burning your resources on random fixes. And your wealth action is identifying what the bottleneck is. Is it awareness, conversion, delivery, retention? Figure out what the bottleneck is, then go in there and fix that. Then things will start to flow again. Next, you'll see the leadership, which The trait there is scaling. So the wealth trait's delegation and vision casting here. You can't scale wealth alone. This is the stage where you trade your doer energy for your CEO energy. And the pitfall is you can get stuck in micromanaging or clinging to control things, which can kill innovation and team morale. Happens more often than you think. We all have our own little DNA, right? So we're all going to have different patterns once we get to certain stages, but that's a very common pitfall. So in order to really help avoid that is hire people for their strengths that you lack. If there's something you suck at and you don't want to do it, give it to someone who's really good at it. Hire people who are smarter than you. You know, I would talk about like taming your ego. That really helps. We can all learn from each other. We're all in this together, ultimately, if you really look at it that way. And set clear KPIs and communicable vision so that the team can carry momentum without you if you're not able to show up. That's the goal, for you to be able to step away at this point and it could just flow. Then the next stage, which is plateau number 2, is strategic renewal. So you'll want to have innovation and personal energy management here. At this level, you've already become successful, but markets might be shifting and wealth requires constant reinvention. It obviously depends on what field you're in. Like if you're doing like garbage trucks or something, that I don't think that field's going to be taken over by robots anytime soon, but it could happen. I don't know. But a lot of things right now are pivoting because of AI, for instance, right? Like people are moving faster because of AI. I feel like a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed right now because of AI, because there's just so much out there now that wasn't available to us before because people are getting more done. So it's a time to get comfortable with shifting and to be able to reinvent yourself when it's needed. The pitfall here is staying too comfortable or burned out, because both of those things are going to keep you blind to what your next big move is. It's very easy to get comfortable when you reach a certain level anywhere, even like consider a relationship. How many people after however many years get comfortable and then they stop trying, you know? Like, oh, we're good. It's like, but you still need to go on date nights, you know, or you still need to go out with your friends and show them some love. And it's an ever evolving thing. You get what you pour into it. So step back from the operations here temporarily so you can scan for where the gaps are. Is there new emerging tech? Is there an untapped audience that hasn't been spoken to yet? Just from me to you guys, what I'm noticing a trend in right now is what we're doing. Like people are really craving human touch right now because everyone feels so isolated. Everyone's inundated with AI that they're so appreciating, like at least seeing another human face, conversing with someone who genuinely cares. In-person events are having a comeback because of that. So just throwing that out there. I see that being a new trend. And then we have the next level, which is maturity and expansion. And this is where your legacy thinking is. So it's that long-term vision and impact focus. So true wealth is no longer about more money at this point. It's more about sustainable influence, investments, and your freedom. The pitfall here is drifting into complacency or chasing status instead of purpose. I know that we've probably all witnessed this in the world around us. Wealth actions would be to build assets that produce revenue without your constant presence. And this could be what real estate, equity in other companies, whatever that looks like to you. But just to show you, this is a very generic idea of an entrepreneurial journey towards wealth. The story is going to be different for everyone. that what you develop is going to be different for everyone. I know someone who does similar coaching to me who has scaled to a pretty amazing level, and I don't think he's ever hired one person. So just because something hasn't been done before does not mean that it's not possible. It just might be a little bit interesting to figure out because no one's done it or no one's talking loudly about it, right? I'm a big believer in keep your mind open and just follow your passions and fine tune where you need to go. So based on this chart, if you can fine tune where you're at, then fine tune exactly what actions you need to focus on. This will really help you. So you're not overcompensating and going into overwhelm for no reason elsewhere. And I would suggest if you have any coaches or people in your corner who are already perhaps a level ahead of you, who have already built something that you're looking for in business, I would lean on those people hardcore because they're going to be able to tell you with the quickness, okay, this is what I dealt with. This is what we can avoid altogether. But if you lean on somebody who hasn't done it yet on the business side, it's going to be a big test. You're going to test the waters together and it may take longer. So just leverage other people's wisdom and bridge that gap. I help people. I've had actually clients at almost every single level here before. So I help people really just get clear on where they're at, what they need to focus on and where their beliefs are and how they need to shift based on where they're at to get to where they need to be. So just for clarity's sake there. Go over 3 hidden wealth blocks. I'm sure there are many, many more, but just want to share a few with you guys today. First, we have the deservingness delay. This is where, man, I feel like my picture needs to be there. Over-delivering, undercharging, and guilt when resting. And can anyone guess why this is a block? Basically, your energy is being overextended and it's not allowing you to focus on the right tasks. So you're not able to get anywhere. It's if you could imagine someone on a hamster wheel. But you don't know what you don't know, so you think you're going somewhere because you're constantly doing things, right? But the second you step back, this is why rest is so important. This is why those plateaus are important. The second you take a step back, you can look very clearly at, okay, how am I spending my day? Where am I pouring my energy? Does this serve me? I personally resonate with over-delivering. That's just kind of my energy. I don't know if I'm ever going to stop doing that. That's just who I am, and I'm completely okay with that. But for me, learning how to charge people was a real struggle because I wanted to give everything away for free. And I used to feel so guilty when I would just sit still. I'm like, I could be doing 20 things right now. And now I'm like, okay, rest is literally feeding my spirit. And not only that, my mind gets a break and I can see life clearer. So I'm not constantly, like almost weekly, I will make sure I do a really deep dive meditation. I meditate mostly every day, but once a week I do a deep dive meditation so that I am looking at my life, not just work, everything, very honestly, so that I can move in a more conscious way. All right, so the next one, loyalty contract, fear of leaving others behind. Who resonates with this one? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the codependency piece here too, It's something that I haven't really discussed in a deep way yet, but I really want to do a course or at least a workshop on that at some point. But codependency, I was thinking on this earlier. Codependency is not always bad, right? I think it depends on how you're being codependent and in what forms and with who. For instance, maybe I'm not saying that in the correct way, so please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because it was just a clear, like, random thought I had. If you are with somebody who is constantly draining your energy, distracting you, pulling you in the opposite direction, trying to convince you that what you're focusing on isn't worthwhile, maybe even trying to get you to focus on them and do their stuff more than yours because they don't really care about your success. That's a very codependent situation that could end very sour. But if you can use healthy boundaries in that situation and learn how to navigate that and say, hey, look, I love you, think you're great, but I really need to focus on my stuff right now. I can help you this much, but I need to focus on my stuff the remainder of the time, whatever it is. Learning how to navigate that in a healthy way versus joining a networking group of people who are all on the same path as you, who are all working towards the same goal. You are effortlessly rewiring your brain when you are in these environments. And when you're around people who are already living the dream that you want, it's like osmosis. You're literally becoming that without even trying. You become what you surround yourself with. So when I say healthy codependency, I guess that's sort of what I mean, but still you need boundaries everywhere you go. You need to make sure you are pouring into your cup first without self-care coming number one and taking care of yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Just can't. Got to take care of yourself. And then holistically looking at your life. Okay, have I reached out to a friend this week? Have I hung out with a family member this week that I love and I want to be in my life? Have I learned anything new this week? What did I do for my self-care routine? What does that look like? How am I pouring into myself today? How am I loving myself today? How am I giving back? What am I doing to give back? How am I feeding my soul on a spiritual level? Whatever that looks like to you. We're all different. We all have different beliefs. How am I managing my money? If we want to talk about wealth, that needs to be at the forefront of the things that you are looking at and getting very disciplined with. And my friend here, Tabitha, could help you deep dive into that. If you have a business, that's her genius zone. So, shameless plug. All right. The next one is capacity threshold. So here, sudden gains will trigger cortisol spikes and the body will contract, which will match this fear, fight or flight state. And that turns into burnout. Now, this one's there's a huge nuance here with the capacity threshold. Well, I had a science note I want to share. The ventral vagal system actually downregulates when social bonds feel threatened. Be very intentional with the people you surround yourself with. So the capacity threshold. So how many here knows what that means or what that is referring to? It's like when you reach your capacity, you get to this like fight or flight state with your income. It's a new threshold, right? So it's a new level of income that you've never experienced before, perhaps. And so you get anxiety. And we all react differently to that. That's kind of why I say that we all have our own unique patterns and getting really clear. How do you react when you're in that state? if you can get really clear on what that looks like for you, and even just as simple as grabbing a journal and writing it down. Like, this is what I do. I'm thinking this in this moment. I'm feeling this in this moment. Da, da, da. Just getting really, really clear. Then the next time these things come around, you'll have something to actually work with versus allowing that same exact pattern to take over, right? You have more of a conscious effort after that. And you can rewire it to flow with accordance to what you're working towards. It's kind of wild. I feel like in terms of like just capacity threshold in general, it's so relatable because I feel like in my family line, I've ended a lot of generational curses and talk about capacity thresholds. And there's a lot of anxiety and fear that comes along with that. And it's all interrelated, because once you get out of those boxes, then that's when you start getting more opportunities, because you're no longer stuck in these dysfunctional boxes, right? You're no longer controlled by this fear that was unnecessarily lingering over you, and you can see more clearly. You are more regulated, and then you can move more consciously. Does that mean you don't still get anxious? No, but you can manage it better, and plenty of tools for that as well. But want to get clear on the blocks today. All right. Next is our lovely guided visualization. So one thing before we get started on our visualization that I want to make sure to get clear on with you guys is I thought I had it open. I want you to get very clear on what's coming up for you today. Like, what, in terms of your wealth, growth, and creation, and just in your life, what's showing up today for you? What fears are you having? What anxieties do you have? Hold on. Let me pull this up. And when you leave today, I'm going to make sure you get a document that's going to guide you through what you want your future wealth persona to look, feel, and be like. And I want to get really clear with you guys today, because I feel like that's going to help you. That's going to set you up for success pushing forward. Here it is. Okay. The wealth scorecard, before and after. So before, in terms of safety, how does your body feel when you think of money? Let's start there. What feelings are activated, or what feelings of unsafety come up at the thought of having more money? And then identity. At your current level, how do you picture yourself when it comes to wealth? What's your identity towards wealth today? In terms of receiving, how do you allow receiving to enter your life? How does that show up for you? What do you resist? What do you block off? What makes you feel uncomfortable? What does that look like? capacity. What happens when you hit your income capacity? What do you feel? Just like we were just mentioning. What does that look like for you? And then beliefs. What misaligned beliefs do you have with wealth? I'll give you a few examples. I just don't want to impede on your own ideas and thoughts. But for me, because media used to always depict people who are wealthy as being very selfish. They also used to depict people being evil, like money is evil. And that if you had money, you'd have to constantly be busy. You wouldn't have time for family or loved ones. Those were a lot of the beliefs that I had that were instilled in me in media. And then once I started building my own journey towards wealth and started on this adventure, I met so many people who had already accomplished so much, and they were so down to earth. They had the biggest hearts. They were go-givers and they were giving back. I'm like, wow, that's like, these are my people, and super wealthy, and you'd never guess it because they're so down to earth. Like everything on the TV skewed my vision of what wealth was supposed to be, you know. And there are people who get money and act XYZ, but those people can go hang out in the other corner because I don't want them here. All right, so now that we've got that scorecard for before, just know that I want you guys to build your after our workshop today, and you're going to get a copy of this. Today's guided visualization, I want you guys to also make sure you're in a quiet place where you can center your mind. If you want to turn off your cameras, you're more than welcome to. And we'll get started on that in just a second. Okay. You ready, Tabitha? Okay, cool. All right. Today's guided visualization is Rewire to Receive. I want you to go ahead and take a slow inhale through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth. I want you to feel the weight of your body fully supported beneath you. The chair, the ground, the earth holding you. There's nothing you need to do. Nothing you need to prove. Right now you are safe. And as you settle in, imagine a path appearing before you. You don't need to know where it leads. You only need to know that it's calling you forward. The air feels lighter here. And every step you take, you're guided by a deep, quiet knowing. And up ahead, you see her, a younger version of you. She's standing in a moment frozen in time. The exact moment she learned that wealth meant something negative. Danger, guilt, or maybe even loss. From where you are, gently float above her, as if you're observing from a safe, elevated place. You can see the details of the scene, the surroundings, the people, the words, or even the silence that imprinted that belief in her. And from this higher perspective, I want you to whisper down to her, it was never your fault. I want you to whisper to her the truth of how you feel about wealth today. The truth of where you're headed towards. I want you to reassure her that her fear was simply there to make her feel safe, but that she can now let it go. It's no longer needed. And feel free to share with her anything else you think will resonate in this moment. Feel those words land. Watch her shoulders soften, her breath ease, feeling centered. You notice she's holding something, a contract, the agreement she made with herself to stay small so she could feel safe, loved, or accepted. Now watch as she looks down at the contract, realizing it no longer serves her. See her hold it out in front of her, and in a single exhale, she releases it. The paper dissolves into light, breaking apart into shimmering particles that rise and vanish into the sky. Into that instant, she's lighter, freer. Her eyes meet yours with gratitude, and she nods. She's ready for you to take the next step. Before you now is a bright doorway. You step through, and now you find yourself face to face with you, 6 months from now. Notice how she walks. There's a steady rhythm in her step. Notice how she breathes. Slow, spacious, unhurried. She doesn't chase. She magnetizes. She doesn't apologize. She leads. She fills the space without force. She's a woman who knows wealth is her natural rhythm. And step into her body now. Feel her spine, tall, grounded. Feel the calm in her chest, the clarity in her mind, the warmth in her presence. Look out through her eyes. Notice how the world meets you differently when you are this version of yourself. Notice how you feel. Anchor this in by squeezing your fist gently as you take a deep, intentional inhale. And as you breathe in, silently affirm, it is safe to hold more. Exhale slowly, keeping the sensation alive in your body. Every time you repeat this anchor, you teach your nervous system, this is who you are now. This is safe. Go ahead and inhale through your nose now for the count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Go ahead and inhale again through your nose, count of 4. And as you exhale, imagine overflow pouring into your life. Money, opportunities, resources flowing in and staying. No leaks, no fear. Inhale again for the count of 4. Draw in expansion, safety, capacity. Exhale, let overflow settle into your body as your new normal. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time. Deep inhale. Exhale. And rest in this state for a few more breaths. Let your body memorize it. Let your cells recognize it. And when you're ready, please bring your awareness back to the room, carrying this anchored state with you. And know, this version of you isn't waiting in 6 months. She's already yours. She's here. All right. Welcome back, ladies. Anybody want to share their experience or what came up for them? You can. All right. Well, just to give you a brief overview, I hope you guys got a lot out of that. Your unconscious mind cannot tell the difference from imagination and reality. And each time you do that, you are literally rewiring your mind and your body. So I came up with this method, the Rewire to Receive method, that goes through these 3 states. The one is identifying the safety block. So what fear is it that's holding you back? Step 2 is to anchor in this new state. And then step 3 is to reinforce this daily with micro receiving. Just allowing yourself to take these things in. And doing these visualizations is one way to do that. Auto suggestions help I highly and always recommend immersive learning if you can get yourself in environments. It's one of the most effective ways to get to the next state that you are looking for. You will almost effortlessly get there by surrounding yourself with people who are already there and just allowing. No? Cool.
Thank you,
Well,
Laura.
my pleasure. If you
I'm
want
definitely,
oh, go ahead, Michelle. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm a little distracted with traffic, but I'm definitely gonna listen to that again and I'll let you know what comes up.
Wonderful. Awesome. Just so you know, Michelle, because I know you're in the Mind Muscle Academy group, it's going to
Yeah.
be uploaded there, so you'll be able to watch it whenever you need to,
Perfect.
okay?
Awesome.
So,
Love it.
thank you for the feedback. So, first and foremost, if you would like to stay in touch and just want to learn more about me, I'm working on my thesubconsciousmuse.com. It's not complete yet. This is my interim website. Doesn't have a whole lot on there yet, but feel free to read through it. And if you want to dig through some of the photos of the things I've worked on, this one's fun. I've got some testimonials on there. That picture always makes me laugh. Did some speaking events. Here's a testimonial, a few testimonials from past groups that I used to run. I also have my Mind Muscle podcast, and I lead workshops constantly. I'm happy to educate you guys on that too. This is one of the first interviews I did. I don't know if you can see Michelle, but this is with Mark. Um, that
Yeah,
was
I
just
saw
an
it.
interview.
That's cool.
So yeah, just a few of the things. And if you want to get in contact, feel free to subscribe. I have a weekly, well, it's not weekly at the moment. I'd say it's monthly actually at the current state of life. Mind Muscle newsletter. I'm happy to share that with you. You can sign up here if you just want to get in touch and drop me a line. I also have a free, where did it go? That was exciting. It just disappears. Um, there it is. Mind Muscle Community. It's completely free. There's no fee to join here. It's just a way to be around like-minded people. I constantly will share little wisdom nuggets in here. Um, Videos from events that I feel are worth looking at. I also have videos from the current challenge that I'm doing that I am sharing with everyone in here as well. And if you want to share openly with everyone on any beliefs that you're currently working on rewriting or rewiring, here's the place. We're all here to help and support each other. I'm sure more things will come through soon. Also, I have my book, Boundaries Equals Freedom. I'm happy to share that too. The reason I'm passionate about sharing the boundaries piece with everyone is because that, you know how they say there's a gateway drug, in the drug world. Boundaries is like the gateway towards most things in the leadership world. If you don't have your boundaries right and your energy is just kind of scattered all over the place, you're not going to go anywhere really fast. It's going to take time, and you're going to bump into a lot of walls, and you're going to have a lot of chaos, and you're going to learn the hard way. And I certainly did. So that's why I wrote this book. I wanted to help everyone learn how to have boundaries in a more heart-centered way, right? Instead of this me versus them. But there is a time and a place for certain energies. But I just wanted to share what I felt was meaningful for me. This is my Facebook group. I'm sharing it in the chat. And then my website, I'll share in the chat with you guys. And then my book, if you are interested in that. Also, my group, the Mind Muscle Academy, I have had it for a minute. I just started the 52-week mental reps. program, which is just going to help you go deeper into the work we did today. You essentially are going to be working on rewiring your mind. And I'm there to hold you accountable. The group's there to hold you accountable. I'm going to be uploading this in there as well, which you see. I have a few of my other workshops in there. If you're interested, meditation series, how to use anchors, which has been a powerful tool for me. Basically going back to that state that you were in during the visualization, and just a few other things. If you join the community, excuse me, you'll be surrounded with other like-minded people, and you'll get a 7-day free trial to check it out. If you don't like it, no hard feelings. It's not for everybody, and it's just a way to get really intentional on the things that you want to focus on and be around people who are doing the same. Currently, since I'm still this is the beta of everything, I would love to actually, if you do want to join, have a one-on-one with you. We can dive deeper into what that looks like. So we'll talk more about the fees on the call instead of right here and now. But I'll make sure to accommodate whatever it is you need help with the most. There are different tiers and different levels. And not everyone needs the top tier, and not everyone needs the bare minimum. So it's to each your own, and I'm extremely accommodating for that. So just if you're interested in any of this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Let me make sure we get our last reflection in. What I would like to know from you guys, or at least if you want to write this down for self-inquiry, if you're not wanting to share, what shifted in your body today is the first question. What belief are you letting go of for good reason? And what's your next brave receiving decision? Next brave receiving is 1,000 raving fans in my tribe. Yes, absolutely. I love it. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad things are going well. All right, here it is. The school link is now there. And to close, we'll do a few deep breaths together. And on the inhale, I want you to think in your mind's eye, it is safe to receive, and feel that energy in your body again. On the exhale, I want you to think in your mind's eye and feel it in your body. This is already mine. So I'll put these in the chat as well. Go ahead and inhale. It is safe to receive. Thank you, Tabitha. Exhale. This is already mine. Feel how powerful that is. I feel safe to receive the wealth I desire. Yes. Love it. All right, y'all. That's all I got for you today. We ended 3 minutes early. So thank you, Michelle, for joining while you're driving. I hope you're staying safe. Tabitha, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah, my pleasure. I hope you guys got a lot out of today. I'm completely open to feedback. Thank you, Jamie, for coming. I appreciate you. And Geraldine, thank you for being here. If there's anything you think could have been different or better, or if you just want to give me awesome reviews, I mean, all is welcome. I'm open to all of the above. So y'all have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Bye. Take care. And I'll be sending out your bonuses later today. Bye.